One time when I was at a friend's house, we were prank calling and we decided to call our local strip club. We called them and asked them what you have to do to become a stripper, and she told us the requirements and pay and more. She asked if we were 18 or older and we said we were 17 about to turn 18. At this point she was telling us to come in and do an interview. We eventually told her we were kids and she hung up, and we got a call from a different number. It was her mobile phone and she had our address and our parents' number. We were scared so we hung up, but my friend was terrified that she would call her parents and her parents were strict. We blocked both numbers and went to bed.
Okay, so one time in 7th grade I spent the night at my boyfriend's house, and we were night swimming and I had to use the bathroom, and realized I started my period. I was literally just 13, and started a few months before, and never knew how to use a tampon, so I was looking for one. Then I remembered he lived with his grandma who had already went through menopause, so I don't find anything, but I needed something, so me being the stupid effing genius, I went to the kitchen, and looked for a sponge. I found one. It was new and clean by the way, but cut the scrubby green side off, so I was just left with the yellow. Anyway, I went back to the bathroom, and shoved it up my cooch. I went back and swam. I was gone for some time, so I told him I took a shit. Anyway, we were done swimming, and I went to take a dish sponge out of my cooch, and it was so far up there I was crying. And once I finally took it out, the inside of my coochie walls were literally so torn up it felt like Gordon Ramsay himself cut up some chicken. Anyway, I was in the shower crying. I was in so much pain.
I was in 5th grade. We were having a Halloween party in our classroom, and our classroom was split in two with a little wall and door, but it was still in the same room. So the other teacher in the other class came over and called my teacher, and she put a movie on and said, "I'll be right back." So me and my little friends are wondering what they are doing because he's always calling her out, and then they be gone for 20 to 30 minutes. So we followed them and they went in the staff's room and nobody else was in there. So we were trying to peek through the window, but it was tinted, and one of my friends dared me to open the door and I said no because I was scared, and then they triple dog dared me, so then I just had to do it cause mama ain't raised no bitch. I was really scared and it had been 10 minutes already, but I slowly turned the handle and it was locked. So there's this one time I asked my mother, "Why was you and daddy making all those noises?" And she told me how she was baking a cake, so I wanted to bake a cake too. So I asked my friend to come over so we can bake a cake, and when she came she was confused. So we was just standing staring at each other naked. Next thing you know, we just starting making moaning noises to bake the cake like my mom said, and she walked in on us. This one time when I was little, I thought I could talk to trees, because I had no friends, and I used to sit by them and say things. And one day I was talking to my tree friend called Kevin, and this girl went up to me and said, "Are you talking to that tree, freak?" And I started crying and hugged onto the tree. And while she was laughing, one of the branches fell on the girl's head. Thanks, Kevin. In middle school, the popular kids went through this really fucking weird but kind of funny phase where they would scream so loud when they had to sneeze. This one girl was so loud, oh my god, she'd literally straight up scream before she sneezed. Like instead of the ah ah chew, it'd be like a chew.
One time at lunch, my best friend wanted to make out with a boy in the bathroom and asked me to take the second girl's pass so that nobody could come to the bathrooms, and the boy's friend did the same. Then we all went to the bathroom and my friend went into the boy's bathroom, so I left her there and she said she would be back in 10 minutes. After 10 minutes I went back to the bathroom and she was still in there, so I thought she was going to get raped, so I burst in and saw my friend crying. I grabbed her arm and tried to drag her out, but then a teacher came in and detained us all as if it was a motherfucking crime scene. They told us to give them our phones and I got to go to the office, and the teacher questioned me like it was a Q&A, like, "Bitch, fuck off." Then she let me go and back to class, and I started having a panic attack.
When I was in 7th grade, I met this girl in my bus and her name was Lexi. Well, me and Lexi got really close. My middle school was divided into 3 different schools, so me and Lexi went to the same school but a different section of our school, and we also took the same bus. Anyways, one day when I was walking to class through one of the schools, I saw this cute-ass guy and I asked her about him cause she went to school with him, and she told me that it was one of her friends, and that if I wanted her to mention me to him, well, of course I want you to mention me to him, bitch, I think he's cute. Well, he sent me a little note telling me I was cute or whatever, and then we kept sending notes to each other. But one day as I was walking through one of the schools to get to my class, I saw him with a group of friends and they all started laughing at me. I got really embarrassed and didn't know what was happening, so I went to see Lexi to ask her why he was laughing at me.
Last month I found out that my dad has been cheating on my mom with some bitch at work. My little sister was watching YouTube on his phone when we got a Snapchat notification from a girl called Babe Number 1, so she pressed on it so she can give it to my dad, and the message said, "When are you leaving them? Can't wait for you." And when I came back home I confronted him about it crying, and now I've been blackmailing him about it so I can get whatever I want, but on a promise I don't tell my mom. Anyways, I told my mom yesterday and I told her I've been using him to get what I want, and she told me to keep on blackmailing him so he can go bankrupt and go to his side hoe for help. Anyways, guess who's getting a new phone this week?
Went to the hospital with my entire family because my grandma was dying of cancer. I was crying really hard, and my grandma said to me, "Don't worry baby, I'm going to a better place." I slapped the hell out of her and told her to stay. She died.
One time when I was 15 I went to the beach with my best friend and we were there all day. I ended up sleeping over at her house and before bed I chugged 2 bottles of water. I felt very dehydrated. We were sleeping in the same bed and I fucking wet the bed. I peed so fucking much it woke me up and it was all over her too. I was panicking and didn't know what to do, so I went to the fridge, got chocolate milk and poured it all over the bed and all over her and said I spilled chocolate milk and we need to wash the sheets, and she believed me. I'm 18 now and she still has no idea.
When I was in 7th grade, I used to make fake Instagram profiles of the bitches I hated the most and say it was their spam account. Then I would DM their friend's boyfriend and say I forgot the password to my main account. Then I would get the password, hack their account, and expose their DMs. Chile, don't make me mad or I'm gonna get revenge, smirking cat face.
One time when I was 4 or 5 I was watching TV in my parents' bedroom because my brothers were playing video games on the other TV. I was just laying on their bed while watching TV. Then I found a round pink squishy ring. Only being 5 I thought that it was a bracelet, so I put it around my wrist and went on with my day. Later that day I showed my mom my new bracelet and she looked horrified and told me to take it off immediately and wash my hands. At the time I had no idea why she made it such a big deal, but a few years later I found out it was my dad's cock ring that I had touched with my bare hands and wore as a bracelet, so yeah, heart.
When I was younger I was in Walmart and I was eating a tube of Pringles and I ate them while my mom paid, but I forgot to let the guy scan them, so I walked out the Walmart and the alarm went off and I just started running because I got scared and my mom couldn't find me because I was hiding behind the newspaper things, and the Walmart people called the police because I was missing, and when I hear them show up I thought I was a criminal, so I left my mom a note on the newspaper that said I went to Mexico to start a new life and not come looking for me, and then I took off running with my Pringles and ran for like an hour, and then the cops saw me walking down the road so they pulled over, so I started running again, and then they were using the car intercom thing and they told me to stop running. So when I did I thought they were gonna put me in handcuffs and take me to jail, so I was crying and I slapped the officer in the stomach and tried to run again, but he just held me back, and when he asked me what happened to me and I told him, he started crying because he was laughing so hard. And he just gave my mom $2 for the Pringles and he was still laughing when he left. And that's the time I was a wanted criminal.
Okay, so a couple years back my teenage sister was pregnant. Nobody knew at the time, not even her. And so one day I was in my room just hanging out, and I heard a really loud scream coming from my sister's room. Naturally me and my family went upstairs to go check on her to make sure she's okay, and me and my mom walked into my sister's room, and there was blood all over her sheets. And my sister had, I wanna keep it family friendly so let's just say toy. Anyway, there was a bloody toy in her hand and she kept screaming. Like it was a lot of blood. My mom took her to the hospital cause she didn't know what else to do, and it turns out she accidentally gave herself an abortion with a toy.